Zolak and Bertrand.
I want to happen to him what happened to you. Happen.
It was an intoxicating environment, and I got intoxicated.
Why does this keep happening?
Zolak and Bertrand, the Sports Hub.
Was just mentioning it from his perspective. And then, as you said, Will, Marcella was answering the question.
And Anthony now chatting with the umpire, and here comes Tracy.
I feel like is he looking at his right hand or wrist? Yeah, he sure is. He's stretching it out.
Trainer out as well.
What was it? It was a weird swing, almost like a kind of a abbreviated swing. And this is where you worry about like hamate and things like that. But see how he cuts his swing off like that?
Yeah.
And then sometimes when you do that, when you're swinging full speed, you can really run into some issues with hands and wrists. I haven't dealt with that a lot when I played.
Ridiculous, T-Bone. And nobody would leave California to come to Boston, by the way. That song is bullcrap.
You don't think that's going to happen?
Get out of Cal. No, I'm not getting out of California. I'm staying here until the end of time.
You had yourself a nice time there, didn't you?
Oh,
he's a Coronado guy.
I am. I am.
How could you not be?
How could you not be? The beaches are a problem, but other than that,
I saw that. Yeah, the Tijuana trash.
Tijuana trash is a bit of an issue there. They got to get a water treatment plant over there in Mexico. They've got to get that sorted out.
There are problems everywhere.
You know, we're different countries, but we share the ocean. Yeah. For crying out loud. Anyway, what's up with Roman Anthony coming back to Boston? They took a look at it. They're telling you it's negative, but then they put him on a flight home?
Well, that's the issue. He went and got the X-ray. X-ray came back fine, but if it's a tendon issue in the hand when he gets the MRI here, I think that's going to tell you what the real situation is.
Again, that's why I said specifically MRI, fellas. There's not an MRI machine in Detroit. They don't have one there. The whole city of Detroit, they get rid of the MRI.
I know, it's just like the Bengals stadium where they don't have any of that stuff, right? Yeah.
What is that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to the fact that around here, anytime an athlete does anything, they'll find you a machine.
If you're sending a player home on a road trip, especially during a time like this, I don't know how you can look at it in any positive light. And he said after the game, the pain was the exact same. It was no better. It wasn't like it kind of faded away. So clearly whatever damage was done stuck with him. We saw Marcelo Meyer get injured on a swing last year. It was his wrist, and it's not hamate because hamate bone's at the bottom of the hand. It's not towards the top like he referenced.
Dr. Milliken back there.
Yeah, listen to you.
I know.
I'll save you, Roman.
Bust?
Oh,
watch your mouth.
Should I be concerned that this guy keeps injuring himself swinging?
Yes, you should.
Yes,
you should. Is he an injury-prone player? We've seen it with plenty of players before. Is he starting to become a guy that you now look at and say he's always hurt?
Well, nothing like trying to build your entire future around two guys who are always hurt.
I was going to say,
Meyer.
not exactly Cal Ripken Jr., Marcelo Meyer over there, right? Not exactly the Iron Man himself, so that's good.
Suffering, endless suffering is how I feel about this Red Sox season. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. They might bottom out if they haven't already. I think there's still way down to go, to be totally honest. Guys keep getting hurt. There's infighting. My guess, I wonder if Tracy survives the year. It doesn't feel like they're exactly sold on him. So,
you think they're going to fire a second manager?
Yes, I do.
They call up the guy from AAA. You think they're going to fire him in season?
Double dead cat bounce.
Come on. What would be the point of that?
Craig Breslow made it very clear they are not committed to him for the rest of the year.
Well, isn't that in the sense that they may hire a manager that becomes the manager?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a different situation when you say he doesn't survive the year.
Okay.
They're not blowing him out and handing the reins to Andrew Bailey.
But that's a lever that Breslow still wants to keep, right? Because he blew out all the opposition in the organization in Cora. If they continue to play poorly, he's probably going to expedite the process of naming a full-time manager, not the interim guy, just to try and buy himself a little bit more time. You see what I mean? Like, what a mess this is.
The Brockton Rocks manager?
It's Chad Epperson. He's sitting there. He's your third base coach. He interviewed for the Nationals job.
No, Sea Dogs had a hell of a culture this year. Yeah.
It's going to be hire a Rocco Baldelli, hire a Dustin Pedroia, something like that to try and sell the fans on a franchise legend type of thing.
What a situation you're walking into if you're Rocco Baldelli, by the way. Let me take this franchise over for the last 2 months of the season and then watch the GM that hired me get blown out at the end of the year. That's good.
That's good. The whole issue. If you're going to end up switching front offices, if Craig Breslow hires a manager and he gets a 3-year deal, that tells you everything you need to know. They told him he's going to have the job moving forward, so pick your guy and we'll let it all play out.
You see, if I'm ownership, there's no way No way on earth I'm letting Breslow hire a full-time manager this year because I don't know if Breslow's...
Why, do you think this roster's flawed?
The word is challenging, McComb.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If you hire a manager before, and this is where my mind goes, your manager gets paid during a lockout.
Yep.
If you don't have a manager, you don't have to pay one during a lockout.
Point. It's a great point.
That's where I go. I look at what's the cheapest thing possible for that cheapo owner, John Henry. What's the cheapest thing he can do? And that is, let's fire Tracy in the last week of the season, and then we won't have a manager on the books, and he's out of here. And we don't pay one during the lockout year. We're not paying out for a manager. What would be the point of that?
The only thing about that is the lockout would go into effect, what, December 31st, December 1st?
Okay.
You probably do need to name a manager by then.
Why?
You're going into an off season. Granted, there is going to be a lot of things in limbo this off season.
Yeah.
Nothing like trying to sell a player on, hey, you want to come to Boston? We're not going to pay you as much as everybody else. And by the way, we don't know who our manager is.
You'd also have to be active in free agency for that to be an issue.
Do you think teams are going to be active in free agency leading up to the lockout?
Probably not.
So it's not going to be a normal offseason.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not defending that. Let me make that clear. I'm not defending those activities or approaching it like that. They should hire a manager if they have a good one available today that they think would be the fit. But they're not going to do that.
I'm not letting Breslow hire a manager. No way.
That too.
Not letting him do it. Which is what makes the comments so fascinating. I think this has been ignored in the last week. That Breslow they asked him twice in that press conference.
Made it very clear.
And he was like, made it very clear. No, we are not committed to Chad Tracy, even for the rest of this year. It's like, dude, you think you're going to have the power to hire a manager yourself? I mean, I guess he must believe that because he was so strong in saying it. But it just speaks to the bigger mess. So everybody's hurt. We don't know if Tracy's going to be the interim guy for the rest of the year. We don't know if Breslow's empowered to hire a manager or not. The roster stinks.
And you've got veterans and younger players apparently at odds, too, based on the comments over the last couple of days. And to your Breslow point, too, if you are going to strip this thing down, is that the guy that you want pulling the trigger on those deals, too?
No way. You have a general manager who needs to prove a point, who's going to go into this trading deadline probably not with the best interests of the team's future in mind, but his best interests in mind when it comes to his future. We already know he's willing to do that in the first place because he just axed every single person in the organization who opposes him. So you're telling me that the vengeful nerd Craig Breslow is going to do what's right for this team at this deadline coming up? Because obviously, I mean, the obvious answer is you sell everything, right? You strip this thing down and you try and rebuild quickly for next year, which you can do in baseball with their resources. It's happened a million times before. So is he going to be willing to do that when he's trying to save his job? I don't think so. Yeah, things are good. Feeling great.
So I guess the question should be, if you feel that, if ownership feels that way about Breslow and this team keeps going south, couldn't they fire him in season?
You have to.
After post-deadline?
Honestly, I'd fire him before the deadline because...
So would I, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Right. You need to have an interim guy, whether it's Eddie Romero or anybody else, and you say, listen, here is your task. You do what is right for the 2027 Boston Red Sox, not the 2026
All right, let's
Boston
say a
Red
month
Sox.
from now they fire Breslow. Is that in play?
I think it should be, yes. If this team continues to bottom out, then how do you not go that way? You have to be decisive.
Who do you put in charge of the deadline?
Probably Romero, interim guy, right?
You got a guy?
100% it would be Eddie Romero.
Okay, Eddie Romero takes over. You blow up Breslow. You put Romero in there.
John Henry would probably hate that, though, because Eddie Romero isn't an analytic type. He's much closer aligned to how Cora looked at it, more of a traditional way of looking at players and scouting players.
Well, that's when John Henry had his most success, so maybe he should just do that.
Yeah.
I think the other guys that would be in there, Taylor Smith, who's very heavy on the analytics side, came over from the Rays. As I've heard, he's kind of part of that inner circle for Breslow. And then Mike Grootman, who was a Chaim Bloom hire, another very heavy analytics guy that played a major role in Crochet getting here.
All right, so you guys know way more about this than I do, but you're telling me there are people in there that are competent and able to handle the deadline without Breslow.
I have no idea if they're competent or not because they've never been asked to do the job. I would just say I would feel better about it than Breslow at this point.
And Milliken agrees. He's nodding and agreeing with you. So you know what? I'm on board with you guys. Let's fire Breslow.
I think you have to.
Fire Breslow.
I don't think you can let him manage this deadline.
I agree. I mean, for all the right reasons, you want to get him out of there.
He doesn't have one good deadline, not even like a manageable deadline.
He has one good trade to his name.
Yes.
That's it. Yep. He's got to go. Fire Breslow. That's the next step.
Agreed.
Get it done.
You can't let him last till the end of the season. Can't do it. He is too much of a clear and present danger to the future of the franchise because he's trying to save his own job. The most dangerous thing in sports is a GM with something to prove and a GM trying to save their job.
Yeah. Okay, don't let him save his job. Make him lose his job. Put other people in charge, and then go into your lockout year.
Yep.
See you in 2 seasons and see you on the other side. They're about to go to the dark side of the moon. That's where they're going. About to lose radio
contact.
About to lose contact.
Going dark.
Collect the best pieces you can before you do that at the deadline. 617-779-0985. Tim Healey has some details of the Red Sox players meeting with the front office. Oh, man, it's a total mess. Here we are. First week of May. It's off the rails. Let's get into it coming up next.
No matter where.
Smoking meats in the Fenway.
No matter when.
Here we go. Ad-lib time.
That's awesome.
Zolak and Bertrand, the Sports Hub.
Like, I don't understand how you cannot read this as a shot directly at Alex Cora.
Yeah, it certainly can be read that way. Because Wilson Contreras didn't fully explain his thought process or his observations, it's hard to say for sure. But it's easy to imagine a scenario where the Red Sox get off to a bad start to start the season, and when that happens, as people know, heads eventually roll. So if guys were tense, or if Alex Cora was tense, as he often is, a very intense figure, because of the bad start, then I can see how taking that variable out would make everybody relax more, right? Because if firing the manager, never mind half the coaching staff, is the nightmare scenario for late April, and then the nightmare scenario happens, then it can't get worse, right? Of course, everybody's going to be more relaxed. So in that sense, maybe it's less a shot at Cora directly and more just a statement of reality. But yeah, I could totally see it being interpreted as a shot at Alex Cora.
How do you think things are going internally, Matt McCarthy, with these Red Sox and their players?
Oh, no, everything's fine. Nothing to see here. No, it's a disaster. It's a complete and total disaster, guys. You got young players fighting old players. Guys like Trevor Story, who are entitled veterans, who are getting into tiffs with Cedar Rafaela after not, attempting to tag Jose Altuve out. The thing is a complete and total mess. They obviously lacked leadership entering the year, which is why Bregman was such an important figure in the organization. Now you have pretty much everybody trying to save themselves and everybody looking out for numero uno. There is no way this thing turns itself around because they don't have the leadership, they don't have the maturity, they don't have the best players, they don't have the figures in that clubhouse to do anything, to change this course at all. I'm telling you, this thing is going to keep getting worse and worse and worse.
But when you hear like Garrett Crochet from Tim Healey, Garrett Crochet is one of the guys now you can add to the list of veterans who went in and wanted to talk to them about what had gone down.
So I strongly disagree with you on this. If Craig Breslow doesn't allow you to ask questions when he announces what just went on with Alex Cora, as a veteran, you should have issues. I'm not saying that they played well, and it should be pretty self-explanatory in terms of why Alex Cora isn't here anymore. But like Craig Breslow, you need to stand on the decision that you made and allow veterans and players in that locker room to air out their grievances that they may have with the fact that you just fired their manager in April. The fact that you ran and hid and wouldn't take questions in that initial meeting in the clubhouse, to me, is a huge issue, and again, speaks to a guy that has come out multiple times in press conferences and said, I need to work on my communication. Well, bang up job, dude. You did a great job.
Well, wait. I mean, isn't that, again, I hate being in a position where you defend him. It's better for these guys to do it privately one-on-one than it is in a group setting.
What is preventing you from doing both?
Well, the group setting all of a sudden is going to turn into a mutiny.
And what, though?
Because first of all,
because
it's
you
fresh,
can't handle it?
It's raw, and everyone's going to start losing it. And then what? You've got to stand up there and take it from, call it a half a dozen players who are going to now rally that room to hate the GM and rally that room publicly to sort of call them out and just basically create an atmosphere where it's like, well, they've got it all wrong.
Then instead, what do you have? You have a mutiny in the locker room behind your back. Like, at least stand on it and have that conversation.
Where you're dominating the headlines because you have Trevor Story speaking out the way he did. And now, all of a sudden, people are talking about that, and it's more chaos and more dysfunction. Like, was that a better result to have them go and Nesson's posting
what he
every
should
clip
have
of
done,
players being mad?
What he should have done is said, I'm going to step over here in the office. Anyone like to come talk to me? Come talk to me.
Yes,
Or
100%. Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be in the room, but in the immediate aftermath of the group gathering, say, hey, anyone wants to meet and talk, I'm here.
Right.
Because you just come off as scared. You come off as scared and not wanting to stand behind the decision that you made.
I mean, in Breslow's defense, we should clarify he did speak to the team on the day where they fired Cora. It was Breslow and Tracy. Now, I don't know.
But he wouldn't allow question. He didn't want to have questions asked after that thing. That's what I'm saying.
Which was where you got the Whitlock line.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, you wouldn't allow players to voice their concerns with or questions that you had. You made the statement in the clubhouse, like you said, and you walked out the door.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say he was on and again, I'm not in the business of defending Craig Breslow, but he was on the trip for the remainder of that trip. He did talk with players.
Eventually.
I actually think, Trevor Story and his entitlement, like, you need to answer to me. Trevor Story, you're batting $190. There are a lot of
who made that guy the leader?
There are Alex Cora.
And so did Craig Breslow by the moves he made over the offseason. They propped that guy up. They all spoke over the offseason about him being that guy. If you didn't want him to be that guy, you could have go paid Alex Bregman, or you could have got anyone else to step into a leadership role. You put him in that position. You lifted him up. And it was Craig Breslow, we know, who challenged Marcelo Meyer before Alex Cora, before anyone else did during the offseason, and said, no, Trevor Story's our shortstop. You know why? Because his defensive models had him as the third best defensive shortstop in the AL last year. That's his decision.
Maybe it's the right message, but it's the wrong messengers. The players in that clubhouse haven't earned a damn thing.
No, they haven't. But again, those are the guys that are in your clubhouse right now. Those are the guys that you look at and point to. And by the way, you're 100% right. Like, if you're Contreras coming out and saying that, like, we're a lot looser because of the pressure we had. Well, that's generally a good recipe for teams in October, by the way. If you're feeling the pressure from the manager in the dugout, I'm sure that's really going to translate well to pressure spots for sure. But, like, those were the guys that you put in as the leaders in those clubhouse. And for them to then have questions about the move that you made and to not allow them to have questions or respond to it initially, to me, is a huge mistake. And again, goes back to his inability to communicate, which continuously gets in the way of things that he's trying to do.
Well, he isolates himself, and there have been plenty of reports about that. So, I mean, he's got 2 or 3 people that he's very close with in the organization, and other than that, he doesn't have to answer for anything because he doesn't really create and this would be a term from the Bloom era, a collaborative environment.
Well, doesn't the owner do the same thing, by the way? It really is from the top down.
Of course, no doubt. They got culture problems all over the place. See, I actually think, we spend a lot of time on what ownership spends, understandably so. The biggest issue is not what ownership spends. The biggest issue is that ownership has allowed these culture problems to fester for years and years and years and years. That's the biggest problem with the Boston Red Sox. You got a million different people in different factions, infighting, wars between the manager and the front office, wars between young guys and old guys, wars between the players in the front office. Like, nobody is on the same page. It doesn't matter what you spend on the team. So true. It does not matter what you spend on the team if nobody's rowing in the right direction. That's their biggest issue.
Let's go to your calls on this. 617-779-0985. Stephen Fall River wants to know why everyone is so down on the Red Sox. Is that a real question?
Yeah, come on. But here's my overall premise. They re-signed Alex Cora due to public pressure. It was a PR move. So was the Devers signing. That's not what their overall plan has been. Their overall plan is not to have these crazy contracts. So they've gotten rid of, and who brought in Alex Bregman, the mirage that is Alex Bregman. This guy got off to a fast start last year, which is not his MO, and he was a mercenary in the end. He showed the play the wrong stuff, and now he's milling around very poorly. So is all these other guys they got rid of. Devers is a complete disaster with big contracts. Yes, they have some problems here, but they own the whole thing now. If they've empowered Breslow, God bless them. I watched the game last night. Cora was killing the mojo of Jarren Duran. Did you see Jarren Duran had another 3-run homer? Jarren Duran's now actually leading off and not all over the freaking lineup. Trevor Story said something. Did he say one thing? That was a pretty vanilla thing. I don't know why it's got to keep getting blown up. And I agree with the metrics because the minute this guy was inserted, every day at shortstop and didn't get hurt last year, the beginning of last year to right now, this infield defense is way better, and this guy's way better than I thought he could be at shortstop. It's a pleasure to watch. This thing that have to watching Trevor Story play shortstop.
Yeah. So what does this all lead to in the end, though? They're still a bad team.
No, they're not. Wait a minute. Who cares what they are on May 5th?
I do.
A lot to play out. Nobody. You don't win anything on May 5th. You don't win anything or lose anything on May 5th.
You absolutely can lose something on May 5th. What are they, 9 games back now in the division? No, you're in trouble. I mean, the season's in trouble.
Yeah, 10 games back, by the way.
10 games back. Yeah. They're sinking fast here.
Second worst record in baseball.
Yeah, what are we talking about? No team at this position at this point in the calendar has ever turned themselves into a winner in a playoff team. That just hasn't happened.
You think Alex Cora was the one making Jarren Duran not hit? Alex Cora has been a Jarren Duran guy to the point where he went down to the Puerto Rican Winter League to back him when things were at their worst and when he needed someone behind him. No one's making Jarren Duran change his batting stance 8 different ways. And by the way, Duran had started hitting leadoff before Cora got fired. That change initially happened. And as Chad Tracy told you when he got hired, they had already had a lineup written out that he started working off of once he got hired to do the job.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. His spot in the lineup, by the way, has only been a reaction to other guys not hitting, namely Roman Anthony, when he was struggling. Right? Isn't that all part of it?
Yes.
Let's get to headlines. Matt McCarthy's got you covered on that. John Henry, by the way, is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, good.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about a Lifetime Achievement Award for John Henry?
He's won 4 championships.
Yeah, we'll get to that next.
We're back with more Zolak Bertrand.
I mean, those are the things I'm working on with third graders.
On the Sports Hub.
617-779-0985 is the phone number here on Zolak and Bertrand. We've got Matt McCarthy in today, Beetle, McCone, McCarthy. Red Sox not in good shape. Really not in good shape. There's so many layers to it. There's so many layers to all their bull crap. But they did get a win last night. Hey, let's give it up for severe weather, yeah? Let's do that.
I was telling Milliken, like, I can't remember a game where they made everyone go underneath, and they were like, but you can keep playing. Play through it. And then the Yoshida fly ball where you just lose it in the red. Like,
Which was the game, by the way.
Yes.
You lose if that doesn't end up
Not exactly
happening.
an offensive explosion, but Narvaez trying to throw down in first in torrential rain, too. Probably not the best move. I don't know. Call me crazy, but that seemed a little aggressive there in that spot when there's about like 5 inches of rain coming down.
The rain actually let Detroit back into this game.
Oh, with the Narvaez error?
No, at the beginning. The first runs that happened.
Yeah, the Narvaez error set that whole thing up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Totally was awesome in that game.
Yep.
You, again, second and third, nobody out in the third inning, and somehow work your way out of it where you don't scratch a run across is mind-blowing, man. The spots where they don't score, like, leaves your jaw on the floor at times. It's unbelievable.
The Houdini efforts.
Yes,
the Red Sox.
How are you going to get out of this? Second and third, nobody out. Hardly the order up. Good luck. And they find a way. It's impressive.
Well, you got a great ABS challenge from Willie Abreu.
Yeah,
in the
all
first
over
inning,
it.
by
Yes,
the way.
yeah.
That put them in another awesome spot. But I do think when you talk Jarren Duran, him homering in 3 out of 4 games, if we're going to start this trade conversation, you need him to do what he's doing right now. Because last year in July, he put the team on his back. We know they were talking about moving him, whether it was for Dylan Cease or whatever it was. You ended up having to pull back because he was the only guy in your lineup doing anything. Well, now he's stuck to the leg kick again. He has the power going opposite field. They hadn't hit an opposite field homer since April 1st. That's actually insane. And to win your first game all year when you were down 2+ runs, it's pretty rough that it took this long. You were 0-18 before that, but that's some progress on that. I don't think you could take Peyton Tolley out of the rotation no matter what at this point. He needs to be in there every 5th day. The curveball, the changeup are playing in ways they didn't a year ago. He can go through the order multiple times, no problem.
Just the energy, man. This team always seems so flat, and I just feel like that dude brings it. Every time he's on the mound, man, the energy level that's there just gives you a spark that, like, there's not a lot of players on this team that I feel like do.
Well, you also literally have nobody left.
I mean, that's the other issue, right? Yeah, that's the other issue.
It gives you a spark, and then you take him out of the game.
Yep.
The spark goes away.
Let's go to Howard. He's in Randolph. Hey, Howard.
Hey, guys. Just want to get back to the Celtics if I could.
Absolutely.
Okay, Chisholm. Okay. I can't understand why the Celtics were worth over $6 billion where they don't own their own arena. Now, I know part of the problem with the Celtics was why the previous owners wanted to sell because they weren't making any money. Now, I know they get money from the ticket sales, but they have to pay rent to Delaware North. They get the TV money from the NBA, plus the local TV and radio money. Do they get any concession money from the stadium, and do they get any of the advertising when they're playing?
They do. There's some sort of agreement. I don't know the details of it, but yes, there is some revenue from those items.
All right, but the other question I have is, people get mad at them for getting below the aprons. Well, that's money that they're just giving away because there's no money coming in to cover it. Again, Chisholm, he put himself in that position by paying that much for the team, but you got to work with what you got, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he paid a lot of money, and they've got to pay on that money, and paying out huge salaries or paying huge salary taxes, to sum it up, is not the best idea in those situations from a business perspective. Am I supposed to care about that?
No.
Are you supposed to care about that?
No. That's not my problem as a fan.
That's not my problem. You bought the team, pal. That's your issue to figure out, not ours.
Look, and that can be an issue, and I'm all for going at the owner. That's fine. But I don't want to use that
discount on your tickets.
I don't want to use that as an excuse for what happened in round one either. There was nobody that was saying, hey, this roster is not good enough going into this series against the Sixers. That was not the case.
But it does tie into what's going to happen now in this offseason, for sure. Marion Brockton wanted to hit on the Celtics as well. Go ahead.
Marty, not Mary.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marty. Go ahead. We missed a T there.
Yeah, that's okay. I got a couple of scenarios. Celtics. Now, I don't know how old you guys are, if you remember 84 or not.
Nope.
But
wasn't alive.
1984 Lakers playoffs, right? We got smoked. And our captain, our star, Larry Bird, said we played like a bunch of sissies. And until we get our hearts in the right place, we're not going anywhere. Now, fast forward to Sunday, right? And our superstar is sitting there with a questionable injury. I say questionable because he said in an interview afterwards he would definitely play in the next round. So he had an injury that was going to last for, 48 hours, and then he was okay to play again. So he sat there. When I talk about hot, he sat there in a Game 7, watched his team go down in flames, and then he walks onto the court and he's laughing and he's hugging Embiid. I mean, Tommy Heinz just rolled over in his grave. Larry Bird, can you imagine those old Celtics laughing in a Game 7 in their own building?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No, but that's not the league anymore.
Right.
And both Jaylen Brown and Tatum had their moment laughing with Embiid. I've heard a lot about the Tatum one. Did you see the Brown one, too?
Oh, yeah, that was the one I noticed.
And Brown was jawing with him in game. Like, those guys were going at it back and forth. After the game, hugs and smiles between the two. There were hugs and smiles. There were conversations with both Tatum and Brown with Embiid after the game. So, listen, does that stand out in this day and age? No, it doesn't.
Doesn't make them any different from anybody else in the league.
It's the same practice in any series anywhere in this league. I'm sorry. Even when you blow a 3-1 series lead and you have a historic collapse, that's what the NBA has become.
You couldn't even get Kyrie Irving to show up for Game 7 against the Cavs back in 2018 when he was hurt, right? Like, so, yeah, no, there's levels to it.
Yeah. Let's go to Kevin. He's in the car. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Great.
Hi, Kev.
2 points. On the Celtics, do you think Brad Stevens has the stones to get rid of Missoula and Jaylen Brown?
Both?
Both.
At the same time?
Why not?
Okay, well, I'm telling you.
After that performance,
great.
Well, here's the other thing. Well, I mean, you got other guys out there that I think are a little bit more respected as coaches. I know Missoula won a championship, and you guys said they went through a very weak playoff schedule to win that championship. I think Billy Donovan's out there. I think there are other guys out there. Missoula's attitude has permeated on this team to the point even when you interview these guys, they have a cockiness of them that they've won one championship, not 2, not 3, not 4. They've won 1, and they've kicked away 3. Do you really think that's the attitude?
No.
Now, I know the league's changed. I heard you say that. Yeah, I get it. I understand that. But boy, as a fan, paying big money to go to a game, forget about it.
All right, Kevin, forget it. Listen, I think you're right about those things. The attitude is not good. And there was an arrogance to them that I think caught up with them. Yes. I think that they were arrogant in this series. I think they overlooked the 76ers.
100%.
I thought they were going to show up, and they thought they were going to show up. They'd roll out the balls, and it would just take care of itself. And their approach, I think you saw that in games 5 and 6. And then by game 7, it was full-blown panic and a stupid starting lineup that put them in the hole early and set the total wrong tone. That lineup, to me, I can't get over that stupid lineup. That lineup is moronic. I've never seen that before. Well, this is dumb.
The only reason I laugh at it is because the only other option is to cry. I mean, it's that bad.
Yeah.
So you might as well poke fun at it, for Christ's sakes. That lineup was everything you possibly could have expected to happen. Did. Shocker, they ended up in a hole, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Can't believe that happened. 617-779-0985.
But he proved his point.
We've complained about the Celtics and the Red Sox. We have not done it yet about the Bruins. I really don't have too much to complain about with the Bruins.
Really?
I'm finding it very hard to complain about those guys.
All right, can we talk about what's going on up in Toronto then instead?
Oh, it is magnificent.
Unbelievable.
Magnificent. We can absolutely do that. A reporter, Steve Simons, right? Or is it Simmons? Simmons or Simons up there? He's a big, long-time name up there. And he rips into the team in the press conference, ripping the new Leafs GM right to his face. He's the guy who was with the Coyotes back in the day and got caught having his own combine. We'll get into that, as well as how we should remember these Bruins for 2026. It's on the way.
Zolak.
I got a pillow over my head.
Bertrand.
Doesn't make it normal.
The Sports Hub.
Who are you moving forward?
I think this season will be looked back on with two things. You'll look back and say, this was the year that you saw the younger guys like Mitten and Houston, Dienoff and Hagen sort of take their first steps into the National Hockey League. I think this is the year that we'll look back on and say Jeremy Swayman became a premier starter in the NHL. But I also think this is the year you look back on and say, are they high-end enough? They need more pieces. Where can they get those pieces to supplement those younger players and to enhance that? And also maximize the cores and the primes of guys like McAvoy and Pastrnak and Swayman. I think we look back on this year as sort of that pivotal, almost like a bridge year. Like what they do this offseason and going forward is going to be fascinating because I think everything's going to revolve around helping the younger guys and enhancing the prime and of the core of guys like McAvoy and Pastrnak.
I'd like to call it a stepping stone year. Similar to a bridge.
The Bridgie Bruins?
Yeah. The Bridgie Bruins. Stepping stone Bruins of 20, 25, 26. That's what they are. I'm with Evan Marinofsky talking about it there, which is, okay, you made the playoffs. You're back in the playoffs. That's good progress, step forward. I think that they were better than we expected they would be in the regular season. Had a really nice regular season, competed, got the best out of this team. What's the next step?
Yeah. So you're separating the Sturm, Pastrnak, Swayman Bruins from the Cassidy, Marchand, Bergeron Bruins.
Yes, this is a new era, new team, new core.
I think that's fair to do it that way.
And that's how I view them. I do not view them as part of that old regime at all. This is a new team and a new build with some of the players who cross over, but this is a different era now. You're into a new era. And so, yeah, that is how I look at it, and I think that's the fair thing to do. In factoring in they traded away Brad Marchand last season to cash it in for picks, and those picks may soon pay off in the years to come. So
find out tonight.
We'll find out.
Big tonight.
Lotto. So that's where I'm at with them. That's where I'm at. It was a stepping stone. You want to call it a bridge year. I think it's progress. It's going forward. The stepping stone Bruins, what do they turn into for next season? I know that there are things in game that you look at and you see, should have done this better, should have done that better. But ultimately, I think they ended up where they were supposed to end up.
Yeah, I think they ended up maybe even beyond where they were supposed to end up. You could make the argument that they weren't really a playoff team. They were somewhere on that line, somewhere in that bubble, and they made the playoffs. They went to 6 games against a better team. So in the grand scheme of things, I think they appropriately achieved, maybe even slightly overachieved for the talent on this roster. My only concern would be, and I feel good about, you want to call it a stepping stone, fine. I feel good about some of the younger players. Your core, like your veteran guys, I have real concerns about them coming out of yet another playoff series where they individually weren't very good. David Pastrnak leaves something to be desired in these playoffs. Charlie McAvoy, once again, was not good.
Had broken hand.
Oh, where? Boo-hoo. So, I mean, maybe that's why he couldn't, actually land the slash that he was trying to land at the end. It was all the hand's fault. The hand was the reason he was a -6 in the series. The hand was a reason why he once again underperformed in the playoffs. The hand was the reason why he once again let his emotions get the best of him. I've got real concerns about McAvoy coming out of that series, and I think you're ignoring it if you don't acknowledge it.
Well, then I guess I'm ignoring it.
He does not acknowledge it.
I'm not acknowledging it. I'm not acknowledging it.
Okay.
I refuse to
That
acknowledge
sounds like
it.
something just to talk about it, just to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not acknowledging that.
Not acknowledging that he sucked?
I mean, we've seen him play a lot better, haven't we?
Yeah, just typically not in the playoffs.
Well,
This is a trend with McAvoy at this point. How many times do you come out of these playoff series and you say, well, you needed more from McAvoy? Just about every single time.
Look what he's surrounded by.
Is he a number one defenseman?
Yes.
He could be.
He could be. He could be.
If he had better talent around him, yes.
If I'm paying a guy $9+ million a year, I don't want to be talking about, well, he could be a number one defenseman if you surround him with better players.
Okay, so then you don't want them to bring anyone else to help Pastrnak then?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, that's the same.
Well, I think it's the same thing. And it's the same line of thinking.
Has Charlie McAvoy
him even more?
Has Charlie McAvoy consistently performed to the level of a number one defenseman given what you pay him? And the answer to me is obviously no. So, at some point, I'm going to stop making excuses for McAvoy, and that was my takeaway from this series. I'm done making excuses for him.
Yeah, broken hand.
A lot of guys were injured.
Does he call into this show too? Am I paying attention to something?
Yeah, broken hand.
I missed that.
Yeah, broken hand.
You guys do dinner dinners.
No, in fact, I think he hates us.
Yeah.
So no, and it's not personal. I don't think he likes us at all.
Zoe offended him.
He's not a fan of this show, so it's not bad. Yeah, broken hand.
Look, their over-under for points going into the year was 80.
Oh, the team appropriately achieved for sure.
So you think they did that without McAvoy and Pastrnak? They just did that with everybody else?
I think McAvoy consistently underperforms in the playoffs and did so again this year.
Let's get to the thing in Toronto, shall we?
This is so good.
Let's do it after headlines. We'll do headlines now. We'll come back and get to, from the Toronto Sun, Steve Simmons going right at the Maple Leafs and their hiring of a new general manager. That's coming up right after this.